Hey everyone, this is going to be my deck update video for Aurora Battle Princesses in Vanguard DivineZ. So, Aurora Battle Princess actually got a very good support card in DivineZ Set 2. Not only that, there's been a lot of updates to the deck since I last did a video on this, to the point where it actually is kind of significant to bring this out again. So, we'll get right into it. Of course, the ride line is the standard Aurora Battle Princess line. We've got Ruby Red, Kyanite Blue, whose effect is when this unit is placed on the Vanguard circle, search your deck for up to one prison card. We still only have the one. Reveal it and put it into your hand, and then you shuffle the deck. And the rearguard effect we do not use. Then, of course, the grade 2, which is Resought Pink. When this is placed on Vanguard, when this is placed on Vanguard, your opponent chooses a card from their hand and imprisons it in your prison. And your prison is in the order zone. And of course, the grade 3 for the deck, but not the main Vanguard. This is Aurora Battle Princess, Seraph Snow. During your turn, if one or more of your opponent's cards are in your prison, it's an extra 10,000 power. And if there are 3 or more, it gets an extra drive as well. And then on Vanguard and Rearguard Circle, Counterblast 1, choose up to 2 of your opponent's rearguards, imprison them in your prison, and then that's it. Very simple. So, on to the main deck. We've got 4 copies of the boss unit, which is a grade 4. This is Aurora Fierce Princess Seraph Pure Light. Yeah, arguably still the best grade 4 in the game. So this is when this unit is placed on Vanguard Circle, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1 card with Seraph in its card name. Your opponent chooses 2 cards from their hand, 2 cards from their rearguard, and 2 cards from their soul, and imprisons them in your prison. And then during your turn, all of your front row units get plus 5,000 for every 2 cards in your prison. And then if 10 or more cards are in the prison, all of your front row units get a extra critical as well. Very nice, very strong. Again, still arguably the best grade 4 in the game, besides my Magnolia Elder, as they're the only 2 grade 4s who still continue to get support. All the other ones got a upgrade instead. Although Bastion grade 4, you can argue got support, it just got a new base grade 3. However, that base grade 3 replaced the grade 4 entirely, which is funny. Anyway, on to one of the other grade 3s in the deck. This is Aurora Battle Princess Penetrate Aquas. When this is placed on the rearguard circle, if your opponent chooses a card from their drop and imprisons it in their prison, rearguard circle and guardian circle, if 2 or more of your opponent's cards are imprisoned in your prison, count how many times I say prison in this video, this unit gets an extra 5,000 power and 10,000 shield, which is very nice. Very rare to get a grade 3 with shield value. And for the battle that this unit attacks, when your opponent would call cards from their hand to the Guardian Circle, they must call 2 or more. Arguably one of the best attackers in the deck. Two copies of Arga Rouge, Rearguard and Guardian Circle effects. If there are 2 or more of your opponent's cards imprisoned in your prison, this unit gets an extra 5,000 power and 10k shield, like Penetrate Aquas. And then its other effect is when this unit is placed on the rearguard circle, Soul Blast 1, choose one of your opponent's front row rearguards and imprison it in your prison. Nice and simple, been around since set 1. Onto the new card, the one that arguably really helped this deck. This is Corner Citrus. When this is placed on the rearguard circle, your opponent chooses a card from their drop and imprisons it in their prison, and if they imprison the card, you Energy Blast 3 and draw a card. Very nice. And then its other effect is, when your grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Seraph in its card name attacks, if 3 or more of your opponent's cards are imprisoned in your prison, this unit gets an extra 5,000 power until the end of turn. And if there are 5 or more imprisoned, you counterblast and restand it. Very nice. This gave Seraph Snow / Aurora Battle Princesses its 4th attack that it really needed. So it's no longer locked in 3 attack hell. Although those 3 attacks are pretty strong. But now we have 4. Of course, 4 of Cuff Spring. When this unit is placed on the rearguard, your opponent chooses a card from their hand, imprisons it in your prison, and if it was imprisoned, your opponent draws a card. Sure, they draw a card, but they also lose a card, and in decks that go through a lot of their cards, that could mean decking out faster, and maybe making them play less risky. So arguably a great card to have. Four copies of Suppressed Glimmer. Again, another really great card. If your Vanguard is a Seraph, this unit gets an extra 5,000 power. When this unit is placed on rearguard from hand, if 3 or more of your opponent's cards are imprisoned in your prison, search your deck for another copy of this card and call it to another rearguard circle. Very nice, very simple. Lets you build a very good board. Onto another great card that I'm glad was reprinted. That would be the Ride Skipper for Aurora Battle Princesses, Security Upgrader. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Seraph in its card name and you did not ride this turn, you retire this unit, search your deck, hand, or drop for one grade 4 card with Seraph in its card name, ride it as stand, and if you search the deck, you shuffle it, and then if you wrote a card, your opponent chooses a card from their drop and imprisons it in their prison, and the cost of the original auto ability of the Vanguard ridden is decreased by Counterblast 1 until the end of the turn. Very good. This has been reprinted a lot of times now. However, it was still kind of hard to get as a majority of those were promos. However, it has since been reprinted in Festival Collection 2024, which made it very easy to access. So yeah, very nice. Of course, we've got Lifeful Royer. This one is during your turn, if 2 or more of your opponent's cards are imprisoned in your prison, this unit gets an extra 5,000 power. If your opponent's card was imprisoned in your prison, good grief, Counterblast 1, choose up to one of your opponent's rear guards, imprison it in your prison. Again, just count how many times I say prison in this video. Look at the top 5 cards of the deck. Choose up to one unit card with a grade less than or equal to your Vanguard from among them, call it, and shuffle the deck. And of course, since this is a Brantgate deck, we can't go wrong with Bulba Mine. Very simple effect. At the end of the battle that this unit boosted, if your order zone has a set order, put this unit into your soul and countercharge 1. One of the best cards Brantgate ever had. Of course, we've got the prison itself. You activate it by resting one of your units. When this is put in the order zone, you soul charge 3, order zone. When your opponent can normal call a rearguard, they can perform one of the following. If they do so, Soul Blast 1. If they do so, choose one of their imprisoned cards in this card, call it to a rearguard circle, Counterblast 1. If they do so, they may choose 2 instead. Very nice, and that is where you store the imprisoned units. Of course, for the Brantgate PG, any of them that you want. However, since this is a grade 4 deck, you cannot use Elementaria Sanctitude. However, there is the new Elementaria out that can be used, I believe. So you can use that one if you want. However, that's really only good against the Stride decks, so you might not see it or want it. Of course, 4 of the non-effect crits. Of course, we're going with the themed ones for the Aurora Battle Princess deck. 4 of the effect crits. 4 heals, and 3 draws. Of course, you can always use the effect ones. I do have them, but they're in another deck. So just for the theming of the video, I'm using the Aurora Battle Princess draw triggers just to fit the theme. And then, of course, the Brantgate Over Trigger, which is arguably the second best one. And that is it for the update for Aurora Battle Princess. I hope you enjoyed it.